Experience is one thing, but wisdom built over decades is something completely different. And today I am joined by Randy Anaya, a man of faith, a leader who has been in the industry since 1988. From starting his father's brokerage to building multiple RE/MAX franchises and then growing into an independent brokerage, equity realty group to nearly 100 agents, Randy has seen it all, has navigated through it all. But what makes this conversation different isn't just business success, it's the foundation behind it. And Randy has built his career around faith, relationships, and purpose with a belief that if business isn't personal, something needs to change. And in this episode, we're talking about what actually stands out through the test of time, what separates agents from those that last and those that fade out, and how to build a business rooted in relationships, and what it looks like to integrate faith into leadership in a real practical way. So if you are looking to build not just a successful business, but a meaningful one, this conversation will hit you differently. So let's get into it. How do entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and experts like you scale a massive business all while having fun and impacting lives? Welcome to the Play Bigger podcast. I'm your host, Raquel Quinnett, business coach, real estate entrepreneur, investor, wife, and sports mom. This podcast will give you real quick tips, strategies, tools, and inspire you to play bigger in business and in life. Are you ready? Let's grow to the next level. Welcome to the Play Bigger podcast. This show is for entrepreneurs who want to play bigger in business and in life. And today I am honored to have a seasoned real estate leader, a man of faith, and someone who truly lives what he believes. He's been in our industry since 1988. Believe it or not, starting in his father's brokerage. Were you like a baby at that time?
I was 18. But you make me sound really, really old, seasoned.
You're very
1988.
seasoned.
Yeah.
And he's gone on to build multiple RE/MAX franchises and his own company, Equity Realty Group, which grew to nearly 100 people. But what makes his story so powerful isn't just his business success, it's the foundation behind it. And for decades, he has led with faith, serving in ministry along with his wife, Rachel, while building businesses centered around purpose, people, and integrity. You don't hear that so much in our industry, so that is why I'm so excited to have Randy Anaya on our podcast today. So welcome to the show, Randy.
Thank you, Raquel. I'm excited to be here, even though you made me sound like I'm 90, 99 years old. And I am old, I get that.
You guys gave that to us.
Yeah, I should have left it out. Yeah, you're right.
But I think what it shows is you've gone through so many different cycles in this business, right? And you're still here, still leading. And he's excited. I'm excited to have this conversation. And what I'm going to tell the audience, whether you're listening to this or you're watching it on YouTube, is just before this, he and I had a conversation off air and it made me cry, but I'm going to power through this beautiful conversation, however it's meant to be. So we are going to kick it off with, obviously, you've been in this industry, you've been seeing lots of cycles. And I want to say, like, out of all of your journey, we'll start with here is, what's one lesson that you learned early that still applies today?
I would have to say that our industry is relationship driven. That no matter what, it was a little obviously much different in 1980 than it is in
That was when
2026.
fax machines were still around, because I got in 1999 and fax machines were still around.
Yeah, Raquel. I don't even think we had fax machines in 1988. I remember driving carbon copy contracts over to other real estate offices. There was no, you didn't. I don't remember having fax machines when I first started, but I could be messing up my dates there. So yeah, the one it's extremely obvious is that our industry is relationship driven, whether you're building a brokerage or selling and listing properties. it's now more so, probably than ever before, in my opinion, relationship driven. I think people, before, we used to run ads in newspapers or print magazines, and they would see an ad and they would call, and just right then and there you build a relationship, and next thing you know, you're helping them make the biggest investment in their life. Where today, I think that there's so much social media that people want to get to know you a little bit. They want not intimate details, but some details of your life, so that they know you're a person of integrity. They know you're a person with ethics, and this is somebody I can trust with the largest investment of my life. And I think that more than anything else, I mean, there's certain systems that are certain, like door knocking, cold calling, that's still in play, right? That was still in play back in '88. It's still in play today. But I think the one thing that stands out above everything else is that we are a relationship driven industry, and I know a lot of people are afraid of AI taking over our jobs, right? And you see that all the time. I just don't think that our culture, at least not right now, is ready to hand over to a computer, again, one of the most, and I could be wrong, one of the most important investments in their life.
So I agree with you that relationships kind of drives a lot of things. Why do you think agents have a hard time keeping up with relationships or staying in touch with some of their clients? Like for a majority of the industry, I mean, how many CRM softwares are there in our industry yet?
Yeah.
If you ask 100 agents today, did they open up their CRM today just to
Right.
kind of keep in contact? And I kind of say it's your relationship management like software that kind of just reminds you when you forget. But like, why do you think for agents it's such a difficult thing if they know that relationships drive their business?
I think a lot of it is just human nature. You have success, you want to enjoy that success rather than storing up that success and keep building or keep grinding, if you will. Um, and it's just human nature. You got the success. I'm gonna relax for a little bit, and you see agents do it all the time. And I tell them, I go, this is my metaphor, my example, if you want to use it. That real estate is similar to riding a bicycle uphill. That you push, and it's hard, right? Your muscles, your legs, everything's burning, and you're climbing that hill. You're climbing your hill, but once you get to the apex and you start coasting down, then it's easy. If you step away from the marketing, if you step away from whatever it is that you're doing to generate leads, if you step away from that, it's again, you got to start all over climbing up the hill, and it doesn't matter if you're away 2 months or 2 years. It's the same thing. And so if you stay active, and this is so valuable to any new agent that's experienced a little bit of success. If you stay active and you keep building, as opposed to stepping away for a little bit and enjoying your success, which again I think is human nature, you got to be disciplined to stay away from that. I think that again, my opinion, your database, your CRM, whatever your sphere of influence, whatever you want to call it, just continues to grow and grow, and you continue to experience success and success.
Yeah, so if an agent was stuck today, what would you say, or what are some of the key things as they're climbing up this mountain that they need to do, at bare minimum to continue those like activities?
Well, I think that's an individual um, assessment. I got to know the person. Um, some people, it's just the way they talk to people. So let me step back. I think there are certain things that every person can do, but it doesn't matter for some people, if they do those things and they still do it the way they're kind of, because there's some people that just there's some people that just come across like a used car salesman,
Yeah.
and they come across, and it doesn't matter if you're knocking doors, it doesn't matter if you're cold calling, it doesn't matter if you're doing open houses, whatever you're doing to get in front of prospective buyers to build relationships. If you're coming across untrustworthy, if you're coming across like I don't know, it,
Unexperienced, unconfident. Yeah.
it's not gonna do anything for you. So I think every agent has to be assessed individually.
Yeah. So
And
there's
and
a
if it
skill
is
level.
if it is lack of confidence, if it is the stuttering and the looking away, and not making eye contact, if it's those things, then you deal with that. You try to change that. Uh, but so yeah, I think each situation needs to be assessed individually. And this is, again, People are going to call me crazy, but I truly believe this, Raquel. I truly believe that inside of every individual, inside of every person, there's a good real estate agent. You just need the right mentor, teacher, and trainer to pull it out.
Yeah.
You just need the right coach. I truly believe that. I've had people in my office that other people. There's no way that guy's going to make it. There's no way, and it did. It took time. It took time. It took time in training and teaching. But he started closing deals. I've seen that a dozen times where people just wrote him off and say there's no way. But again, I
As
believe
long as you have grit, right?
if you want to give it a label, stick it to itness, right?
Right? Like if you're
Intestinal
willing to do
fortitude,
the work, whatever it
keep
takes.
keep going, right? Yeah, and you see that a lot too, right? People get excited, just got my license.
Mm-hmm.
They spend the next 3 weeks marketing and all over social media, and then boom, they're gone because
Mm-hmm.
it didn't bring any fruit. So yeah, you just need to keep going, keep doing it, and yeah, I get that.
What would you say if you were starting all over today, and or an agent was starting all over today? What are like two or three like lead generation idea that, or even like that you would do, or from even your experience that have never stopped working, like they're tried and true all the
Yeah,
time?
I think that I'm a big fan of just talking to people,
Yeah,
and so if you
conversation.
can get in front of people and they feel your energy, if you will, um, and you'll connect with them. If you connect with them, you exchange contact information, and then you kind of go from there. So whatever will get you in front of people. I've been in Starbucks lines buying coffee and just started talking to somebody. Next thing you know, I'm selling them a house. Whatever will get you in front of people. Now, what are those things? I know agents don't like it, but I'm a big fan of door knocking on doors, and it's tried, it's true, it's been around since I've been in the industry, 1988.
Yeah.
So I'm also a big fan of open houses
Yeah.
and using social media to promote those open houses. I think that's if you can get a good house that shows well and is easy to get to, meaning there's not too many turns to it, and you can promote it correctly and adequately, I think you'll get a lot of people there. And at those open houses, contacts are made. I'm a big fan of open houses, and I don't like getting or receiving cold calls
Mm-hmm.
from anything. I don't care if it's my car warranty
Yeah.
or or whatever. I don't care. I don't like getting them. I try to be polite.
Thank
I'm
goodness
sorry,
for
I'm
the
not interested.
spam filters now, right?
So I don't tell my agents to do that. But if there's what I'll call a warm list from social media where people said I'm interested in buying, then I think that's okay. I'm just not a big fan of the cold call list. I don't think it's successful. I think the numbers, you got to get through 100 to get one, right? Where
Yeah.
where if it's a warm list, it's every, I don't know, 40, maybe 30 to get one, which I'm okay. I'm good with that because they're expecting a call anyways,
Right.
even though they may not like it when you do it. They're expecting it anyways, and so there's some reservation on their part as to, well, I kind of signed up for this, so
Right. Well, I agree with you with open houses. I actually taught our mastermind group that I think this year there's no better conversion than building than face to face, especially when you're trying to build a relationship. And open houses have been around for so long, and I agree, it's an opportunity to meet people face to face
yeah.
and talk real estate. So, what would you say are, like, let's talk systems. What would you say are some of the systems or tools that have made a biggest difference either in your growth or in your agent's growth?
Systems or tools. Um, yeah, I think if a CRM, if you use it,
Mm-hmm.
is that what you're referring to as systems? Yeah.
It is
I
a
think a
system.
CRM, if you use it, is game changer. It's a game changer. Now, I'm going to tell you something really funny, and you can laugh at me later. But back in the day in 1988, when I started real estate, I'm going to tell you, I was 18. I sold 4 homes my first year. Right. And the lowest price home I sold, I think they were all, God, Lee, this is horrible. I think that they all averaged right around $30,000 a home. And I was working in South Phoenix, by the way.
Oh
And
my
the
God.
lowest price home was $12,000.
I have sold a
So
$12,000 home, by the
okay, okay, good.
way.
I'm not alone. So
And I know, remember the address in Phoenix.
you remember it?
I remember the address.
Okay.
1808 Cherry Lane in Phoenix was $12,000.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Did you buy it?
No, I was the REO agent for it, and I
Oh,
was like
okay.
$12,000.
Yeah, yeah, REO. That makes sense. God, I forgot what we're talking about. See, my brain,
You were
my went.
saying that South Phoenix,
Oh
um,
yeah, yeah. So
help.
what? You know the legal pads that
Yeah,
lawyers.
the yellow
I think
pages.
they still use them today. So
Yeah.
that was my first CRM. So in 1988, I got a legal pad. If I closed a deal, I wrote it down. And this is stuff I just did by myself. No one taught me this. I would love to say that my father was a good real estate trainer, mentor, coach, but he really he taught me real estate the way he taught me how to swim. He kind of just threw me in the deep end and said, "Make it, right? Make it," which
Yeah.
is so that's kind of how I learned real estate. So I don't know where I got the idea of the legal pad, but that was my first CRM, and I used that for many years. Yes, I'm old, and yes, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. And I somewhere in the back of our office, I have stacks of legal pads with
Still
phone
today.
numbers. Yeah, I I stopped using. Obviously, I stopped selling because I went to managing and marketing or recruiting, managing and recruiting and retaining. So I stopped using them, but every once in a while, I'll just go back there and look at them to remind me of how much money I'm losing by not staying in touch with all those people. Right. So, but no, that was my first, and I think that it just an organized CRM was to this day is the one of the most valuable tools you can use if you're not staying in touch with your past clients or your sphere of influence. You're losing a ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think if there's a way to help you organize or not lose your yellow pad or legal paper, right?
So,
I actually got like I started there too, and there was no CRM when I started. So I think it's funny that we can actually connect on some of those pieces. And then I moved up to postcards, those index cards that
yeah,
were different colors, because then it would tell me, I would like rotate them. I'm like, okay, so all the pink ones, that I know that those ones are going to be hot. You know what I mean?
that's cool. That's
And I'd
good.
have like this rubber band
Yeah.
of that was my CRM when I first started. Yes, I'm dating myself today, but that's really neat. That and today I'm sure you teach your agents to constantly stay in touch. However
You
you
have to, and it's not just texting. It's not just an email.
yeah,
I really truly believe in going over and visiting. Announce yourself first.
yeah,
I have a team here that they'll provide dinner for families that they've closed at least on their anniversaries of their close date. Right? They would take them. They would say, "Don't buy any food tonight. I'm going to bring dinner," and they'll bring over a big dinner, and they'll just say hi to everybody, drop off the food, and then leave. I think that's
that's amazing.
genius.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that keeps them at the forefront of their thoughts when it comes to real estate.
yeah, that's a really good idea. What's one mistake you've made when it comes to, let's say, building your brokerage? You've grown up to 95. I want to hear about like the build. So, like, we've talked about the sales. Let's go talk about now, like, what transitioned you from like top producer, sales agent into the management and brokerage, because it's not easy. I see a lot of top agents trying to build teams, and yet there's so many different skill sets, such as leadership, hiring, right? Recruiting is another skill set. What made you transition to getting out of sales and building a brokerage or leading people?
Yeah, and this may be somewhat elementary or juvenile, and I'm not trying to be, but this is true for me. Just caring.
Yeah,
I truly care about the people that I work with and work. I won't say for me, but work with me. Um, so that opens all kinds of dynamics, right? And because you care so much, because you pour, and so it's not just service oriented. I don't just serve them, although that's one of my mentalities, or because it's scriptural from the Bible, to look at others greater than yourself. And so I always see them as my servant, but it's just not a service mentality. It's also a heart where I care about them. But now the caveat to that is that when they leave, it hurts.
It does.
Yeah. So when they leave, it's I've poured into this person, I've cared for them, I went beyond uh, just serving them. I was their friend, right? I was the friend to their family. Like a lot of my agents, I've ministered their weddings, right? I've married them, yeah, and then
Their life. Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
these are things that I not necessarily do for them, but I do with them, and because of my faith and my relationship with God, that's kind of how my approach is that I pour into them, I care about them. If they have a need, uh, or concern, I try to, regardless of it being business or personal, I try to help them with that, whatever it was. And I know you probably, or maybe you don't, but as the owner, I've had dozens of agents ask me for payday loans,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
right? And I don't hesitate.
Yeah.
Well, I do ask if they have an escrow, but
I've also loaned money and never got it back too.
yeah, and that
Right?
happens, right? And that happens, and so one of the dangers of being where we are, or where we were, um, is is that people, irregardless of how you feel about them, and I'm not crying. I don't see myself as a victim. God has been really good to me. I've had a very good life. But one of the caveats, or one of the that comes with our what we do, um, is that people, no matter your relationship with them, they will, when it comes to it, view you as a commodity, something that is to be exchanged or traded. And when you no longer hold, um, in their eyes, value to them, they will walk, they will step, and you have to be okay with that. I just said goodbye to an agent this morning, and I wished her all the best. I said, hey, God bless you, God bless your business, God bless your family. I hope that you do well wherever you go. And and for me to get to that point, to back in the early 2000s, I was like, oh man, get out of here. Then you don't want to be, I would get angry, and I would show that anger, right? I guess I've grown up. I know that's part of our business. That's always going to be part of our business, where people see us as just simply that, something that brings value for them for that day.
So for somebody that actually wants to grow a brokerage, a team, what advice would you give them? Would you tell them to go look for a certain avatar? Like what advice would you give them if they're a top agent, or they're selling and they want to go build something bigger and like serve others, or have a brokerage? What advice would you give them?
Well, again, it's individual, and I would, if I'm looking, so if somebody's sitting down, there's several different models out there that you can choose from. You got to just kind of determine what model fits you and fits your business, as far as teams, brokerages, what have you. I think the very first thing that an owner or team leader must establish is culture.
Uh-huh.
And if you're selfish, and it's all about you, and that's the culture that you're going to set up, then that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract agents that are, again, view you as a commodity. But yeah, so culture would be the first thing that you have to establish. From there, then you got to look at what system you want to design it for, what you want to have. When it comes to brokerages, do you want a discount model? Do you want a franchise? So there's so many different avenues in which you can do that. But it would have to be something where I sit down, I talk to them individually. What are you trying to do? And then go from there. But the biggest thing that with your team is culture. What are you going to, and this, again, it's just my opinion. What is your ideologies? What is your philosophies? And who's that going to resonate with? And whoever it resonates with is going to eventually come to you, right? You're going to attract that. So that, to me, that's the biggest thing, and that's the thing that brought me to real. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself, But the culture at Real is amazing.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. You've grown franchises within Remax. You have had your independent brokerage. What makes you want to join forces with a company like Real?
So the biggest thing, and my vantage point, and I don't know if I've talked to you about this before, but my vantage point is a little different than just an agent out in the streets. My vantage point is where is our, and I'm not talking market numbers, I'm talking industry. Where is our industry headed? And the cloud brokerage, it's already here, but it's coming even bigger. 65 cloud brokerages started in 2025 alone with the intent of being a national brand. So it's coming, right? And the idea of making money more than the one conventional way you sell, you close, you get your commission. That's attractive, and it's attractive to the younger audience. It's not so attractive to the old heads. I'm an old head, so nobody come at me sideways. I'm an old, but it's not so much attractive to the older heads. They do what they do the way they do it, and it's hard to change. I'm from what I'm seeing. There's no way I cannot change, and I knew that. I knew I would lose a big bulk of my team, but this is something that you have to do if you want to stay relevant in our industry. Every so often you got to shed skin and become what the industry wants you to become. And so we went younger, and again, I'm not knocking anybody, insulting anybody. That's not an insult. It's just a fact. We went younger. My older age, I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
This is the truth, right? This is where the real
Yeah,
truth happens on this
this is just
podcast.
I'm not trying to be coy, this is just facts. I got younger, our team got younger, and and it's attracting a younger crowd. And I'm gonna, again, that's one of the main reasons I moved to Real, is because of that. If I want to stay relevant, if I want to attract the younger agents, and they're, from what I see, the younger agents are willing to do more.
Yeah.
They're willing to door knock. They're willing to cold call. I'm not a fan of cold calling, but they're willing to do all that,
We're
right?
willing to try a lot of things.
Yeah, where the older people are just like, when's it coming to me, right? When's it coming? When's it falling? Um, and and man, gosh, and again, um, I'm not trying to in any way uh, show anybody in a bad light. I lost some really solid agents,
Yeah.
in making this move, and I am extremely grateful for the time that you spent with us, and the relationship we had.
Yeah, so this is a big decision, especially when you're independent and you go into becoming a part of something even bigger and
Right.
go into a brokerage. I mean, we see the changes happening. You talked about cloud brokerages. I had no idea that was a stat of how many people actually opened up cloud brokerages. You see how we had bigger offices, throughout the years, and they've gotten smaller, and less and less people are coming into the office,
Yeah.
where they're doing more events together as a team, or they're doing more events as a brokerage and putting the money there, right, into that type of relationship versus an office, right? I've seen that over the years. And so no one ever thought 10 years ago that you could run a team remotely, or you could run a brokerage remotely, or decentralize it. And here we are because of technology.
Yeah, I was telling some of my agents that 10 years ago a certain cloud brokerage approached me,
Yeah.
and I remember like, kind of like, man, this is a pyramid scheme. And I
Mm-hmm.
go, this is no, you guys won't be around in a year from now.
Yeah.
And I'm eating my
Tell about
words,
it.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because you know uh, they're one of the fastest growing, that company is one of the fastest growing cloud brokerages, or slash real estate companies in the United States. So yeah, I'm eating my words, but so I think the inability to adapt to industry change determines an agent's longevity.
Yeah. I think what makes you unique, Randy, though, is you are able to have the awareness that says, hey, I thought about it this way before, but I'm willing to change. I'm willing to adapt. And I think that is so key for what you just said, for an agent to have longevity in this business. You got to be able to adapt not only to the industry, but to the consumer.
Yeah.
I just talked about this week, is whether we like it or not, AI is here and our consumers are using it. So we either have to adapt and get in front of the chat GPTs, or they actually will question your expertise and experience if we don't tell them that, hey, it'd be almost surprising, Randy, if you didn't use ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, all those things to ask
Right.
it real estate questions. But can you and I agree, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That if you do ask it, it's a learning model. Let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah. And yeah, we talked about it yesterday. That's something you need to get in front of. It's no different than Uncle Claude from Minnesota that bought 20 houses, right, and is giving you advice.
The
It's
advice. Uh-huh.
yeah. Oh no, that's not how we do it in Minnesota. So yeah, it's similar to that, but I think that it carries a little bit more weight than Uncle Claude, right?
Yeah.
Because it's right
on
there in
their
front of you
phone.
on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or on their
So
computer.
so yeah, you definitely need to be in front of that, or it could derail an escrow.
So if an agent was thinking about making a change today, or a team was making a change today, or a brokerage,
Hmm.
what advice would you give them, having gone through this? And I know it's not easy. Change isn't easy, but you got to see a bigger picture, right? So
So
what advice would you give them?
that's a great question. I interviewed, I think, five different cloud brokerages when I decided I see the way the industry's going, and I decided I need, if I want to stay relevant, I need to move. I need to make a change. And so I interviewed five, because that's all I knew that was out there at the time. There's several more since I started that process. There's several more cloud brokerages out there now. And to me, again, this is me. The most important thing that I was looking for was culture.
Mm-hmm.
What are they like? And I'm not saying I'm not saying you know, necessarily biblical standards of right living, and the reason I'm saying that is because when I was going through the process, I had somebody email me some newspaper articles
Yeah.
on different companies, right, and things that were going on, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how the agents care or don't care for one another, right? To me that's really important, that you don't cross certain lines.
Right.
And so I was going through that process, and the word got out, and a certain company, I will not name names, a certain company's agents I did not know, never spoke to, from different states, started calling me and saying, no, I should join their downline as opposed to join my friend who works here in the state, right? Works probably 3 miles away from me. That I should join their downline instead of that downline, because and they said this to a person. I don't know if they train on this, but they said this to a person: who you align with matters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true, but you're using it in kind of a sleazy way,
Right.
right? You're using it to disparage my friend, right? Because your downline is better than their downline.
Yeah.
And so
It was mm-hmm.
all I could picture was me trying to recruit, and then some agent from some other state calling, undermining my recruiting efforts. Right? I'm talking to a big team, and then some agent from others, and I'm like, that's not what I want.
Right.
I don't need that. And I didn't. What was cool, Raquel, and you're heaven sent, but I didn't have a sponsor when I decided that I was making the move to Real. And um, my friend Ken, who you know, your friend as well, came and visited me, and Ken's hilarious. And he asked me if I knew you, and I go, no, haven't heard it, because and that's not. I stay in my little corner, and I do that on purpose. And so I was like, cool, yeah, I'll have a phone call. And then we started talking, and the more that we talked, the more I realized, hey, this connection, this whatever, this network, this relationship is going to be beneficial to me, and it's something I need to do. Um, but yeah, that's to me, that's important. Culture is important. If you're not in my corner as a team, as a squad, then I don't want to be in that team.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think you hit it on. I think because there's so much competition today, I think and I know this, somebody had said it to you, but said it in a different way, but who you align with matters. I think you could feel people's genuineness, and you could see
Yeah.
after you make that decision how much they're willing to support their partners or this journey, because they will be there no matter what, and those are true partners,
Yeah.
right? Like they take it seriously, whereas some people say, I'm just building just to build. And we see that too, even on the team side. I'm going to build this big team, but I'm doing it just to build.
Right.
Yet, if you ask, do you know every single person on your team? They'll probably say no. They've never even met some of them,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
leads back to culture, right?
Yeah.
The culture.
I will say this, Raquel, and I don't take compliments well, so but I give them a lot. I try to give them as much as I can,
You're
and
as humble
that,
as they come.
huh?
I said, you're so humble. And you
Whatever.
definitely don't take compliments well. And I'm like, Randy.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm not good at that. But I want to say this. I said that to say this. That throughout this process, it's probably the most difficult thing that I've done in my professional career, maybe even my life, is taking 80 agents that are under a discount brokerage model and taking them to a split with real.
Wow.
They I had people talking behind my back, and I tried to do it in a way that was beneficial to them and not to me. Even though the people my people at real I love, even though my people at real were telling me to do it a separate way, I told them I'm not going to put them in that. I want who's going to go with me to choose to go with me, not to be forced to go with me. And so I took my time doing it, and I gave them as much time as they needed to make that change. And I had people talking about me, and anyways, just I said all that to say that throughout that process, I reached out to you. I asked you questions, um, and you were always there for me. And I know it's just been those 2 months, right? So again, my relationship with you is God sent. It's heaven sent. I do believe it was meant to be. And yeah, I really appreciate the role that you've played in me making that transition. Again, it was the hardest thing I did, and you took a little bit of that weight off my shoulders. So thank you very much. Any big team out there that's looking to make a move, hook up with Raquel.
Or
And
Randy.
yeah, and yeah, to this day, I don't fully understand the real system, and I don't mean it's not user friendly, but it's so vast and there's so much in it, um, that it's going to take me a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But you've been instrumental in helping me make that transition, and I really, really, really appreciate you. And thank you so much. I won't hold this lightly. I won't forget it.
Yeah, well, we are always looking for people like you that want to build, right? And I know that it is very difficult and very hard. I left a brokerage of 16 years, and I know that transition is not easy at
Yeah.
all, especially when you've got relationships. There will be, and you brought it up, and I think people should know this, is whether you're a team owner that has team members today, when people leave you, it still hurts.
Yeah.
It still hurts. No matter what anybody says, it's still there's just something that you carry that you're just like, gosh, and
Yeah.
and I could only imagine, even when you've built something, there's so much pride and there's so much joy. But here's what I know to be true is that you see something bigger for your people,
Absolutely.
because you wouldn't have been in this explore you wouldn't be exploring your options if you could still be the same and do everything the same, but now you
Right.
just give your agents and the people around you and the people that are going to continue to join you options. And we talked about this offline of legacy. There's not a lot of brokerages where you can will something that you've built in real estate, to other people in your family or whoever you name, which I
Yeah.
think is really awesome. And there's just different, and we didn't have, health benefits and all these different things because it wasn't important. We were just transaction after transactions,
Right.
recruiting after recruiting. And then it was like the moment somebody gets sick, what happens?
Yeah.
Right? The
Yeah.
moment an agent gets sick today, we are the ones that are loaning out money, right? When one of our agents needed to
Right.
pay their mortgage,
Yeah. They're coming
car
to us for help.
payment, groceries. but now you got resources within our company,
Yeah.
like a credit line. So I think it's really cool that, again, congratulations. I know it wasn't easy. And here's what I want to get to is you have talked about this a lot on this podcast is faith, right? You've led in business, you've led your family ministry. How has faith shaped the way you lead today and make decisions?
Yeah, it's everything. My relationship with Jesus Christ is everything. I'm where I'm at today. Hold on. My children are where they are today uh, because of that relationship with Jesus Christ. There's no, I can deal with all the heartache and all the heartbreak and all the disappointment as well as all the good times, right? Because real estate has been good to us. I can deal with all of that because if you can't, you've been in the business a long time. I've been in the business. I've seen success destroy families.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it tear apart husbands and wives.
That was one of my biggest fears
Yeah.
when I got into real estate is because I saw divorces at such a young age before I was married, right? I saw families get torn apart, but the agents were top producers, and that stuck with me. And if I said, if God ever gives me the opportunity to have kids, like I want to make sure that it's a little different.
Yeah. So it's not just surviving the hard times, but it's surviving success. And you need a roadmap for both. And my relationship, my faith, uh, of my God, that's given me that, right? It's helped me. And please, don't get it twisted. I've made my mistakes. I've done some dumb stuff growing up. I've done dumb stuff as even as a business owner. I'm sure I've hurt people, which I regret. But at the end of the day, I still have my family, right? I have six beautiful grandchildren, a seventh on its way, and to me that's success. And so faith is everything. My relationship with God is everything. It supersedes. If I was a streetcar conductor in San Francisco, it supersedes what I'm doing every day. Whether every day in industry, whether it's real estate or driving a bus or
Yeah.
picking up trash, it's everything to me.
I love it. You've had a great career. Looking back, what are you most proud of?
The thing that I am most proud of is the times that I've been able to help people, right? When they're hurting and they're in a bad, because life happens. It happens to all of us. It comes and it beats the crap out of us, right? And so when I'm able to step away from whatever role I have um, as leader and just minister and help people, I think those moments are what I'm most proud of. And the real estate stuff is going to be gone. It's going to leave, just like everything else in life. But the one thing that's going to remain, the one thing that's going to be true, is the moments that you poured into people, that you helped people, that you ministered to people. That stuff is going to last eternity. And someday, you do what you want with this. You do what you want with this, Raquel. But someday I'm going to get into heaven, and God is going to take me to a door, and He's going to open it, and He's going to say, "All these people are here because of you." That's what I'm most proud of.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. If you were to start all over today in today's climate, zero database, right? Not knowing a person, what would you do for the agents that are either stuck out there or they're just starting over? Some of them may be even reinventing themselves right now, or they've gone through a loss or a divorce and they're like, they've got to start over. What would you do to build momentum in the first 30 days?
So 30 days?
30 days. You got 30 days. 30
days. Wow. Okay, so we talked about this. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. That 29% of the active licensed real estate agents, at least that's what I've read. You said it was lower, but 29% of active real estate agents closed at least one or more transactions. That means 70% of our industry is not doing anything, right? And So to me, if I was in that situation where I'm brand spanking new, don't know a whole lot, just passed my real estate exam, or I'm reinventing myself, I'm finding a mentor, somebody that cares about me, somebody that truly is interested in my success, and not just the money they can make. Like it, you have to pay for information, you have to pay for training, you have to pay for knowledge. You're gonna have to pay for that, but it's important that you find somebody that truly cares about your success. One of the things that resonates with me is there's a young lady that started as my and I mentioned her to you sometime past, but started as my receptionist in 2012, and then she got her license. I think no, she started as my receptionist in 2010. She got her license in 2012, and then became over time, over 2 or 3 years, became like the top producing agent in my company, and then she's now moved on to another company, and she has a small team out there, and she's still killing it. So I don't say I take pride, but it gives me joy.
Yeah.
It gives me joy to see her doing that and to see her doing it well. It makes me really happy, and I'm waiting for Emily to come back and, and join real.
What would you say she did that made her so successful? And if, like I said, if you had 30 days, what would an agent have to do today?
So aside from finding a mentor, number one, number two again is so this is what I tell when they come in, when new agents come in. This is what I tell them. I tell them to create a list of friends, families, um, to organize that list, and to begin to reach out to the list. It's not just a matter of social media, because there's a gazillion real estate agents on social media. But again, our industry is a real estate driven industry, and people don't want to buy houses from somebody that they can't trust. They want to, more so now than ever before. I mean, like I said, 88, they look at a print, come buy a house from me. Oh yeah, I'm going to call them, right? That was the norm back then. Now you people want to read you a little bit. They want to understand you. They want to get you a little bit before they make that move. And so I would say, create a database, first 30 days, and I would break down a work day for them on what they do throughout that day. Now, if they don't have another job and this is it, I would break it down for them hourly on different marketing strategies, and in order to build momentum and kind of get it out there.
Amazing. Randy, you have dropped so many nuggets today. If somebody wanted to connect with you, where should our listeners reach out to you?
Wow. Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Or you could just call me. Is it okay to give my number?
Yeah.
602-692-6554.
What's that in the
602
world?
692-6554. Hey, don't call me about my car's warranty though, okay?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So as we wrap up, what's one thing, and there's always a question that I ask every single guest on the podcast, is what's one thing that Randy does today to play bigger in business or in life? What do you do to play bigger?
That's an awesome question. This is what I do every morning. I wake up right around 6, not 6 on the dot, but right around 6 a.m. and I'll go into a room, a private room. I'll put on what I call my prayer list, and I begin to pray. And I talk to God for a little. And you guys do whatever you want. You think I'm crazy? That's fine. I pray. I spend time with God. Then I read the Bible, and then after that, I'll have a cup of coffee. And it's during that cup of coffee that God starts downloading ideas into my brain about building. And I tell you, some of the creativity that comes through me, it's not me, it's Him, right? How I recruit, how I market, all that stuff, it's Him. So if you're asking me, and you're a person of faith, or you're not a person of faith, then just drink the coffee, forget the first part. But if you're a person of faith, spend some time with God. He is the creator. Oh my Lord God, I feel like I don't want to be preachy, but He is the creator of all things, and we are made in His likeness. That means we were also made to create. Not create from nothing, but create from something. And so He wants that for us. And the reality of our industry is based on how creative we are in our marketing, right? The more creative you are, the more creative you are in scaling up, chances are the more successful you're going to be.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being on our show. I appreciate you for showing up, for
Absolutely.
being on this journey, and I am excited to continue to keep playing bigger with you, my friend.
As am I. I appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Thank you.